Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking about a really important topic for agency owners who are trying to scale their agency while also removing themselves from fulfillment and account management so you are not overwhelmed with the day-to-day of fulfilling marketing services and the day-to-day of babysitting clients as you start to grow your business. So to jump right in, what do I even mean by drop servicing? Well, this is kind of a fancy new term that's out there. I've been using it a lot. Maybe I can just kind of coin it as my own, but it's a fancy new term which pretty much is synonymous with white labeling. Okay, so whenever we talk about drop servicing or white labeling or outsourcing, we're talking about using contractors to fulfill the marketing services that your agency provides to your clients. Okay, so let's say you go out and you get a new digital marketing agency client or a new SMMA client, and it's like construction company, and you're gonna be doing SEO and Google ads for them. Well, you're running the business. You're not supposed to be sitting there writing blog articles and managing Google ad campaigns in the same way that an AC repair company owner is not supposed to be out there twisting screwdrivers and fixing ACs. He's supposed to be running the actual business and focusing on revenue generating activities. Same thing with your agency. You shouldn't be in the nitty-gritty doing the work. You need to be running the business. And so what's the solution? Well, the solution is to go out and find someone who can do the work for you, aka hire a contractor, aka use drop servicing or using a white label fulfillment company. Now, a white label fulfillment company is, of course, the company that houses the contractors to do the work for you. So there's kind of two tactics or two strategies that you could deploy. One is hiring your own team of contractors that you hand select and manage yourself. Or what I'm suggesting in this video is using a white label company that has already hired all the contractors and even has a project manager and has all the staff, all the HR, all the SOPs, everything built out to where you can simply land a marketing client, onboard that marketing client with them, the white label company, and they will fulfill the services for you and take care of everything. From the second the client is onboarded, they handle fulfillment. As an agency owner, you need to get to that position to where everything after cash collected, everything after deal closed is off your plate. One component is the fulfillment of the service, and another component, which we can talk about in a different video at a different time, is account management and client communications. So now that I've rambled for a minute about what is drop servicing and white label fulfillment and all that fun stuff, how does this fit into the overarching picture of your agency's infrastructure? I'll go over that really quick, and then we'll actually dive into the nitty-gritty of this business about how drop servicing works, how white label fulfillment works, and how you can start to implement it into your agency, okay? But let's talk about, like I said, your agency infrastructure and what I call the 6 pillars of your agency. In your marketing agency, there's gonna be 6 pillars. Any fast-growing marketing agency must have these 6 pillars. It's the foundation of your company. Lead generation, sales process, closing, onboarding, fulfillment, and account management, okay? You need those 6 pillars in place in order to start growing, and then over time, this is the key point in this whole video, over time, you need to then remove yourself from those pillars. Over time, you get a white label fulfillment company or a drop servicing company, if you will, and remove yourself from fulfillment, account management, communications, reporting, even upselling and cross-selling, everything that happens after the fact, right? And then over time, you can also remove yourself from media buying, aka generating your own leads for your agency and conducting sales calls and all that stuff. Removing yourself from the business is a big deal if you're trying to scale, okay? So just remember, in those 6 pillars, fulfillment is one of the pillars you need to remove yourself from as quickly as possible. Quite frankly, this is the pillar that I tell agencies to remove themselves from first. Okay, you're starting to grow your marketing agency. You have appointments coming in with business owners. You can conduct those sales calls. No one's going to close deals better than you, the owner, so keep doing that. Okay, you can onboard clients as well in the beginning. You don't need to hire someone to do that. You can also handle some client communications in the very beginning, up until about 10 clients, 15 clients, etc. But what you must get off your plate as quickly as possible is the fulfillment. A few points I have about actually leveraging a white label firm and some best practices. Point number 1 is I want to give some clarity on what the white label company actually does. Now, you may be thinking, duh, this is obvious, they do the fulfillment. Right, yes, they actually do the work, whether it's SEO or Google ads or Facebook ads or whatever. But there's many other things they do that save you so much time and so much mental bandwidth. It's not just the work, it is hiring, creating SOPs, finding talent and recruiting these specialists and these SEO contractors and Google ads contractors, reporting, and so much more. So realize whenever you're hiring a white label company, you're not just hiring a set of hands to click buttons on Google. You're also basically outsourcing the entire back-end operations of your agency, which is a massive time save and mental bandwidth saver for you as a business owner. Point number 2 I want you to think about is, can I outsource? Yes, with services like SEO, Google Ads, Facebook Ads, that's an easy answer. Yes, you can outsource that stuff. But what if your agency has a fractional CMO offer where not only are you providing a service like, again, SEO and Google Ads to the client, but you're also offering them some one-on-one hands-on consulting? Well, that's obviously not something you can drop service or outsource to a white label company. So be thinking about what elements, what parts of my offer can I outsource, and what elements or parts of my offer can I not outsource? And if you are someone who's doing very, very bespoke custom marketing services and or consulting and or fractional CMO type stuff for your clients, you might want to even consider simplifying your offer and whittling down the services that you render to only the ones that you can outsource, allowing you as the owner to take some of your time back to then only focus on revenue generating activities. You need to constantly be thinking about, how can I remove myself from the day-to-day, which includes all the types of fulfillment that you do. This point is actually really, really key for creative agencies. If you're out there offering website design and graphic design, branding packages and all that stuff, and you're doing a lot of that yourself and it's all custom, you need to be thinking to yourself, like, maybe I should start steering in the direction of offering managed digital marketing services such as SEO and Google Ads, where number 1, I can command good high ticket monthly recurring retainers, and number 2, I'm offering services that are very outsourceable. Point number 3 is a question, which is when to outsource. Now, there's kind of 2 schools of thought here. One is to ramp up your agency to a certain level or certain number of clients to where it kind of just is a no-brainer to start outsourcing the work. You get up to 5K, 10K, 15K per month in revenue. Now you have the revenue coming in to start outsourcing. Then there's another school of thought, which is the one that I subscribe to, which is that you should start outsourcing from the very first client, okay? You need to be thinking about outsourcing and fulfillment and the cost associated with that as a percentage of revenue. If you're working with a good white label company, a premium white label company, they should be able to do the work for a cost that is about 1/3 of your top line revenue. So to give you a real example, let's say your white label company charges you $400 to do the SEO work for your SEO client. You should be able to charge at least $1,200. Honestly, for me, I charged upwards of $1,750, $2K, $3K for SEO, depending on the client, location, all that fun stuff, right? But your fulfillment should roughly be 25, 35-ish% of your top line revenue. So it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter if you decide to start using a white label company now or 10 clients from now, it's always going to be a percentage of revenue. So my opinion is just to get started with it as quickly as possible. Just get it in your mind that, hey, as soon as landing my first client, if you're someone who's kind of starting out, as soon as I land my first client, I'm just going to automatically have my mindset that 30% of my revenue is going towards fulfillment. And that's how I'm going to do it moving forward. Again, that's the best way to make sure your time is completely freed up to focus on sales and getting more clients. Point number 4, where should you find the right contractors, the right drop servicing companies, which I know is kind of still a gimmicky phrase, but where do you find the right white label companies? Good news is I've done a lot of research for you on your behalf, even though there are hundreds and hundreds out there. I feel like a lot of people probably go to Upwork or Fiverr, places like that, and look for specific VAs or outsourceable contractors, etc. But I believe you should gravitate towards the higher quality, premium, more full service white label companies such as Agency Elevation, 51 Blocks, Invisible PPC. Those are a few premium white label companies that I have come into contact with, vetted and interviewed on behalf of Agency Collective members, which is my agency mastermind that I run. And those guys are solid. You want to, and I'm not saying you have to go with those, people I just mentioned, but look for a company like that. They should be able to obviously perform and get good results for the clients. They should have great communication between you and them. For the ones that do offer an account management element, they should be able to communicate with the client in a very streamlined, effective way. They should be able to offer full reporting for the client, and some of them even offer like a client-facing dashboard you can give the client, right? They need to check all these boxes. So make sure you go with a premium white label company, not just a random contractor you find off of Upwork or Fiverr or whatever. Point number 5 is how to vet potential contractors or white label companies whenever you come into contact with them. Again, I mentioned a few of my favorites just a minute ago, but regardless, regardless, no matter how much I vouch for them or whatever, still you should meet with them and interview them and ask them certain questions about the way they operate and how they're going to integrate with your agency. I wrote out a list of questions right here. Let me run through them really quickly. We don't really have time in this video to go through each of these in detail, but let me go over these, okay? So what questions you should be asking them, okay? How many agencies do they work with? The best, most premium white label companies will be working with hundreds of agencies, and therefore they have thousands of end clients, okay? That's how you know they're a good white label firm. You don't just retain thousands of clients and hundreds of agency clients just by luck. You do it because you're good and you provide good results, right? So ask them how many agencies they work with, okay? Number 2, do they have setup fees? Number 3, what's their average retainer or recurring fee for each of the services that you're going to be using? Number 4, how does their communication work between you and them? And also for the ones who, in addition, offer account management services, how does communication work between them and the client? Or between you and them and the client, right? How is that whole thing working? Number 5, do they handle account management or any client-facing communications? Just like I mentioned, some white label companies will only do the client-facing service, and then they communicate with you as the agency owner, while other white label firms will do all the fulfillment work, but also they will communicate with the client on your behalf as an account manager, which can save you a lot of time. But those guys usually charge a bit more, rightfully so, because they're doing more work for you. Number 6, what kind of reporting do they provide the client? Are they giving you a dashboard, like a client-facing dashboard that's white label with your agency logo on it, where the client can log in at any point in time and see the progress of their marketing, etc.? Do they do email reporting? Do they have communication channels like Slack going on? What does their reporting and client communication look like? Okay. 7, are there any other fees or hidden fees, etc.? 8, can they provide case studies so you can know whether or not they know how to provide and produce good results in the niches and industries that your marketing agency primarily works in? Okay. And then number 9 on this list of stuff to watch out for, talk to other agency owners who use them. Okay. Get a reference. Talk to agency owners who are actively using that white label company and see what their experience is like. Not only what is the experience like with the white labeler in terms of communication and relationship, but what are the results they're providing for the client? Okay. How good are they performing, etc. Honestly, this is where being a part of a community is a big deal. And I'm going to shamelessly plug our agency mastermind called Agency Collective really quick. I've just seen so many people inside of Agency Collective reach out to other agency owners whenever they're looking to hire a certain contractor or a certain white label company or a certain sales closer recruiting company or a certain account management recruiting company. You need to buddy up with other agency owners so you can get the inside scoop on the best contractors and other types of vendors to use. Okay, and big bullet point number 6, the last thing in this whole video, is budgeting for outsourcing. Now, I kind of already covered this in a previous point. Whenever we ask ourselves, what's a good cost for a white label company? What's a good price that they should be charging me to fulfill the service? It really comes down to a percentage of revenue, or that's how you should be thinking about it. You should be thinking about fulfillment in terms of this is going to be a percentage of my revenue, and we should try to stay in the 25 to 35% of revenue range. Again, I gave the example earlier. If you have a white label company that's fulfilling SEO, for example, at $400 a month, we want that fulfillment cost to be 25 to 35% of our top line revenue. Therefore, what should we price it at? At least triple, right? So $400 for fulfillment, we should price it at least $1,200, maybe $1,500, okay? Now, although I had an exit and sold my agency, we were acquired, as of last year, I still remember the data on this specific topic. And whenever we were running SEO and Google Ads and doing marketing for lots of companies around the country, our fulfillment cost with our white labeler for something like SEO was roughly around $450, and I charged an average of around $1,750, okay? I remember we charged SEO $1,750, we charged Google Ads $899, combined it was $2,649. That was the main package that we sold, and it would cost me around $700 or so to fulfill that. And so that kept my fulfillment costs in that sub 35, sub 30% of revenue range. So whenever you're thinking about, am I getting a good deal from my white label fulfillment company? Are they charging correctly? Am I charging correctly? Et cetera, you want to be seeing your fulfillment costs as a percentage of revenue, because as you scale up, you're going to be adding on more expenses, and you want to make sure you have enough margin to still make plenty profit margin at the end of the day. In my agency, agency after fulfillment costs, after marketing, after payroll, after softwares, after everything else, we were still in the 35% plus profit range as we were scaling, which is really healthy. All right, guys, so that will wrap it up for this video. This is kind of a beefy, very informative video about how to leverage drop servicing or white labeling, basically how to remove yourself from the fulfillment of your agency. Doing that one thing, and it's not a very simple thing. It's going to take some time. It's going to take vetting some contractors, et cetera, but doing that one thing will free up all of your time to focus on revenue generating activities. You can start increasing sales and growing your business. You have to learn how to remove yourself from the most time consuming parts of your business to focus on the most revenue generating parts of your business. And as a side note, now that you do have time to focus on revenue generating activities such as sales calls, I highly recommend checking out another video I have on this channel where I dive deep into my 8-step sales process for closing high ticket marketing agency deals. I'll put a link or a tile or a card somewhere on this video so you can click over to that and check that out. Having said that, be sure to tune in next week or the week after for more videos like this. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.